My name is Lily, my age is 33. My parents owned a little theater business when I was born. My childhood aim was to be a theatrical actor, but as I got older, I strayed more and more from that goal. It's not that I gave up on my ambition, rather, I missed the glitz and glitter of the stage for an everyday existence. My connection with my parents is still excellent, and they did not pressure me to continue performing. My spouse, Owen, and I tied the knot 6 months ago. There was no wedding ceremony for us. We have a very long history together. In the 8 years of our partnership, there have been highs and lows. Thus, even though we are just married, we already have a mature married couple's atmosphere. But lately, Owen has been acting strangely. He obviously modified his style. With the exception of his business uniform, Owen has never given much thought to how he looks in front of me due to our extended relationship. However, he's lately started purchasing fashion magazines, dressing in current trends, and meticulously arranging his hair. He may still lack a decent sense of style, but he has good raw ingredients. Seeing him try to dress neatly aroused me more than anything else. Does he want to win my approval? Hello, my love. What's wrong with you? You suddenly made a nice appearance today. Wondering? I questioned him. And after that, what? Nothing. Owen? He seems agitated, displaying blatantly dubious behavior. I bring up his style, and it's as though he knows something is off. That didn't seem right for me and left me feeling disappointed. My infidelity detector, which had been off until then, sprang on right away. Though he has had a few affairs in the past, the majority of them were flings or drunken one-night stands. Although we'd had arguments, we've always been able to work things out. Perhaps this is due to my increased resilience to such situations. I felt a little unhappy and depressed, but not devastated. After that, our days continued as usual. Then Zach's birthday arrived, which was half a month later. We were going to have a formal supper outside. I assumed that special preparations would be necessary because it would be our first birthday party after marriage. Some people might find it odd that, as a newlywed, I would try to court a potentially unfaithful husband. However, that's the exact reason I made the decision to ignore a single act of adultery. If doing so meant regaining his affection, then it was worth it. With this concept in mind, I went to the restaurant where we were meeting. My husband wasn't there when I got there. I waited for him to come, a little anxious. But Owen never showed up, not even at the scheduled hour. What a predicament, I pondered. I had a reservation, so I grudgingly ate dinner alone. I threw away the food and wine I had saved to commemorate my husband. I felt so empty that I nearly started crying. My husband wasn't home when I got back. He was out of my reach the whole time. Finally, utterly inebriated, he staggered home in the early evening. You were where? Remember that we had plans. I was out drinking with friends. With whom? Indeed, with friends, and more. Perhaps it's because he's intoxicated, but his significantly lower IQ prevents him from coming up with a suitable response. But for your birthday, we had other ideas. Well, I suppose I forgot. My spouse smiled and said it out loud. He doesn't even try to justify himself. I informed him that I would wait for him at the restaurant in the morning. Yet he took this action. After 6 months of marriage, he has already blatantly cheated on me. Owen conversed with me normally the following day, acting as though nothing had happened. I won't apologize. Furthermore, he began calling and texting the other woman in the adjacent room. I prayed that he would realize how awkward listening to them through the small wall was for me. When he changed how he looked, I kind of felt I could manage it. But that feeling vanished now that he was acting so obviously. Time passed with no preventative measures. To my amazement, he even skipped his company's party afterwards. As a result, I had to travel alone. Feeling depressed, I glanced across the street at something that drew my eye. My spouse was there with a different woman. This was not the woman I had seen on his phone screen. I had assumed that he was only having an affair with Abby. But is it possible that more than one woman is involved? I could have been more understanding if it had been a couple of brief flings. However, I finally realized that I don't want an affair-filled married existence. I confronted my husband that evening. What kept you from attending the party? What? Was it this day? I apologize. But you did okay by yourself, didn't you? What topic are you discussing? I said I forgot. A phone call was made. From my workplace it is. All right, let's discuss it later. Naturally, that was untrue. Clearly, the voice from the adjacent room had nothing to do with his professional life or network. Yes, I realized that perhaps I ought to leave her already. Furthermore, it was clear that he was on the phone with a woman. After a few months, my spouse eventually told me that he wanted a divorce on Christmas Day. It was finally here, my anticipated chance to face my husband. Why? All right. Well, perhaps it's post-wedding anxiety or something similar, you know? I began to wonder if I really wanted to spend the rest of my life with you as soon as we were married. You know, I was curious to see what other girls were like. However, does that excuse cheating? I see that you paid attention. Were you hoping I would find out? To be honest, it's easier for me if you decide to end the relationship and inform your parents. The scammer's self-portrayal goes on. Actually, I just got to know this cute girl. I've attempted to hang out with a couple girls before, but this one is unique. She seems to be my fate. She really is quite beautiful. I gave her my number when she asked for it. I experienced a sense of identity shift, and guess what? She is the daughter of the president of the company. She is the daughter of a large fashion firm, not some one-eyed theater organization your family operates. Amazing, huh? He seemed so happy that I couldn't help but giggle. All right, and let's split up. Really? But will you pay me maintenance? Yes, of course. She's affluent and I'm willing to end our relationship. All right, let me first meet the woman. Could you please just bring her over here? What? Would you like to meet her? I suppose I just can't help myself. After saying so, my spouse got in touch with River, his girlfriend, and she showed up an hour later. My spouse then led her inside. Greetings, hello. When I greeted her, Dominic gave me a nonchalant hey and held up her hand. When he saw the discussion, my spouse appeared confused. This is really cold, man. It has been snowing. Yes, the coldest wave of the year is here today. I apologize. I imagine it was hard to find a cab. Nope, you know I worked really hard to earn this day. Watching me and Dominic chat comfortably, like we were longtime friends, puzzled my husband. River, are you ill or something? My spouse inquired, speaking in a normal tone. Dominic responded to my spouse's question. No, you sound more like a boy with a deep voice. Dominic intervened just then. Oh no, nothing has changed. Dominic adopted a softer, more feminine tone. What? How come? What is happening? Are the two of you acquainted? Dominic and I both broke down when we saw the bewildered husband. We chuckled uncontrollably. She may be cute, but Dominic is actually a guy. What exactly? He? Following that, Dominica spoke to him in a manly tone. Yes, I'm all male. Look at the hair on my legs. See? Dominic pulled off his long socks to reveal a hairy leg. My husband's face went pale the moment he saw it. Owen, though, adores me exactly as I am. Even these hirsute legs, correct, Owen? After saying that, Dominic walked over to my husband and put his arms around him, holding on tightly. Hold on. What does this signify? What's taking place? Hey, Lily, how about you tell him? Well, this is just too wonderful. I apologize. Okay, so it's true that Dominic is my cousin, kin. Yes, he has been impersonating women on stage since he was a young child. He's not only got a trim build, but his movements are flawless too, right? Is Dominicis a man then? Yes, and voice acting is now his primary career. This also gives him the opportunity to modify his voice. Oh no, please don't do it. Yes, it is correct. I have my beard hair removed. However, I neglected the areas that weren't visible. Yes, so I essentially ordered Dominicto to set up a trap for you as soon as I saw you were cheating. I set up everything for you to cheat because I was aware of your preferences for ladies. She also happens to be the daughter of a corporation's president. What is a major lie? That's right. All of the components that we knew you would like were simply stacked up. My spouse appeared as if he were going to roll his eyes at our expose. We kissed River, didn't we? It's similar to a fly landing in my mouth. If it's for work, you know there are a ton of kissing sequences. My spouse moaned in confusion. That explains why you stopped with just a kiss. So should we give it a go right now? Dominic grinned in response. My husband's features grew even more sculpted. Haha, that's too funny. Please stop, River. You did, by the way, pay the entire settlement amount. In addition, I am aware that you have cheated on other women. No, hold on. Now is not the time for it. If I wanted to start over, I would never have asked Dominicto to do something like this in the first place. But Dominic said she's wealthy. This makes it a hoax. She told me a falsehood. You cheated, my husband said. And now you're calling people out for scams? You're quite brave. Owen was unable to respond to my reasoning. At that point, considering that you caused my cousin to endure such a terrible ordeal, you had best make good on your debt. You know, your worth is essentially confined to that. Rivers said those words in the most frightening voice I've ever heard him use. My husband was dumbfounded by his remark. Then Dominic struck my husband hard in the collar while he was kneeling on the ground. That evening, Dominic and I departed from the house, leaving my weeping spouse behind, as the state where my parents lived was different. I made the decision to spend some time at Rivers' residence in a nearby town. A few months later, the divorce was finalized. My husband's parents expressed their sincere regret. Interestingly enough, they also ended up compensating me. I politely agreed when they mentioned they were unable to control their rage towards their son. It was unfortunate, but their in-laws were good. My former husband's superiors now perceive him as a womanizing, inept individual deserving of great distrust. The company employed a large number of women, including his boss and many of its clients. He was consequently routinely kicked out of projects, and it was only a matter of time until he was either let go by himself or reassigned to another department. It was just what he needed. It has been a few years since then. Following the divorce, I developed a mild distrust of men and found it difficult to date for a period of time. However, 2 years ago, River introduced me to a manager at an entertainment agency whom I later married. Every day, dinners with my spouse, who is a fantastic husband who loves being a hands-on parent, and being able to bathe and change Addison's older daughter make me extremely happy. Dominic has been worried about me ever since, and seeing me now makes me realize how fortunate I am to have such a wonderful cousin. It appears that Dominic doesn't see the value of getting married. Along with his 2 dogs and cat, he leads a happy life. In his own unique manner, he seems to be in love. However, he doesn't seem to be long-term committed to any one person. Given his career as an actor, I assume everything is a learning experience for him. He actually runs my parents' theater firm these days. He's become an even better actor, and each time I see him, he seems to be getting better. Betraying him at that time was a shocking experience, but because of the relationships and interactions I had with kind individuals, I was able to get better and go on. I want to make the most of my life in return for all of the kindness I've received.